In this video, we're going to be breaking down a really great patio trellis that was sent in by one of our customers. This is made out of 3/4 inch electrical conduit, which you can find off the shelf at Lowe's or Home Depot, and the conduit is connected together with connectors that we manufacture and ship from South Carolina. And this project was shared by Matthew, and it's really cool. It has some really great features in it that I want to highlight. There's one specifically that is super clever, one that we haven't thought of that I think is really useful for a lot of different projects, not just this one. But here it is. We can see the trellis on the patio. You can see he's got a kind of a brick patio out here, so you can't really build off of that unless you do something freestanding. So he really wanted to secure this to the wall out here and make this trellis so the plants that are growing underneath it, whenever they start climbing up and everything, that they have support that they need. So this is really cool. Here it is, kind of in action. We can see it's 4 verticals going up, and basically he put rubber pipe feet on the bottom, and then the conduit goes up and then is arched using what I would imagine he just used the off-the-shelf hand bender. We have a video tutorial on how to use that. I'll link that down below. But basically, this vertical just goes up and arches and then attaches to the wall here. And basically, that's pretty much the gist of the build. We can see that he's using the maker pipe T connector here to basically grab onto the vertical that's going up, and then that piece of conduit is going back and then attaches it to the wall in a really creative way. That's what I wanted to highlight, and we'll look at closer here in a second. But basically just use the T connectors and then that cross pipe that goes back to the back and supports that in place there. And then he said he used a 16 by 50 inch cattle panel. I think you can get those at Tractor Supply. I'm pretty sure you can get them at Lowe's and Home Depot and places like that, but definitely Tractor Supply. You might just want to look online and find your local stock and figure out the best place to get them. But he used a 16 foot by 50 inch cattle panel. And then he said he secured those in place using some wire and some set screws. So you look closely here, you'll see that he drilled into the back of the conduit just a set screw there that's just drilled into the conduit. And then he used wire, as you can see, to wrap around the cattle panel and then go around, and it just rests on that set screw, and that's really cool. And he said that he used this tool from Tractor Supply, which is made for twisting cable and wire, and he said that was necessary because that wire is pretty stiff, but he used that tool and it made it really easy to secure the cattle panel to the frame. So that's really smart. That's a good strong solution for securing that cattle panel. That's really awesome. We can see here, I forgot to mention that he painted the verticals and the connectors to match the wood on the wall. That's really cool also. But then the last thing I want to highlight on this that's really awesome is he made a kind of a 3-point flange, I'm going to call it, where basically he has the normal maker pipe flange here, where it's normally just these 2 pieces that clamp around the piece of conduit. These 2 nuts and bolts hold it in place. But what he did was, because he had this flat side of this wall here, instead of, it's not enough surface area to, put the bolts through this flange into the wall. So what he did was got an extra flange piece here, and he basically bolted this extra flange piece to this flange here and then bolted into the wall. And that's really smart, something we haven't really seen a lot of. I think we saw something similar the other day for the first time, but it wasn't quite the same. I think this is the first time we've seen this, and Matthew shared this. Is really cool. But basically, as you can see here, because there's not enough surface area for the full footprint of the flange, he added an extra flange piece that's bolted together here and then bolted that into the wall with these 2 bolts here. Really awesome idea and a really great use of the flange, and ultimately creates a really strong connection, because that's kind of the whole point. He said this needed to be really strong because he lives in Florida, and actually Milton hit recently close by to where they are, and he said it held up great with the winds and everything. So that's really awesome. It's a really great project, a lot of cool stuff in this, not a ton of connectors, but a lot of great techniques and just a really great idea for making a trellis. So thanks so much, Matthew, for sharing this. If you want to check out the post, I'll link it down below so you can check it out in more detail. If you have any comments, leave those down below. And if you like this video, leave a like and consider subscribing. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.